Hey everyone, welcome to Goat's Rec Room. I'm your host Kyle Goethe from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Kyle and Nick on Film Show on YouTube. These are my recommendations from this week. Here's how the show kind of works. I'm going to give you 4 picks. I'm going to give you a film currently playing in theaters. I'm going to give you a film newly released on home video. I'm going to give you a streaming pick, and I'm going to give you a classic pick, a historical pick, if you will, that came out some years ago. These are just my thoughts currently on the films that I think you should maybe be considering adding to your watch list if you haven't seen them yet. So, simple enough. Let's just start on our first pick, currently available in theaters. And for those of you guys that question it, I am making this list based on movies that are in my most local theater. I have a theater just down the road. If it's playing at that theater, I tend to assume it's playing at a couple of theaters. The pick I have this week is a film that came out in late February, and it still is holding on pretty well in theaters, but I do believe it's going to Peacock as well in the next couple of days. So if you don't get a chance to check it in theaters, you can check it there as well. My first pick of the week is Kenneth Branagh's sequel to Murder on the Orient Express. Hercule Poirot returns in Death on the Nile. Now, this is a movie for me that I think is very similar to Murder on the Orient Express in terms of its overall reception for me. I enjoyed both films more than average, quite a bit so. I thought both were quite well entertaining. I think the film's problem with this one is the same film problem that Murder on the Orient Express happened, which is that I kind of guessed where it was going at the end. But I also think overall the movie is very exciting. It's a lush environment. It's a light and entertaining cast of characters. I love seeing these kinds of movies where you get a giant crew together of like big name actors that are going to play small roles and figure out who's the killer. I love murder mysteries. I've been on quite a kick recently. It's kind of like last year when I was on a disaster movie kick. Right now I'm kind of on a murder mystery kick because they kind of have the same idea of like bring a big cast of players together and pick them off, if you will. I was immensely entertained by this movie. I think if I had to claim which one I preferred more, I think I liked Death on the Nile a little bit more because it took things that we thought we could believe about the first movie, like it took the hard and fast rules that we put in place and it tweaked them just slightly. I don't know about everything working better in this film, but I do think overall that I liked it a tish more than the original one. And part of that is just being able to hunt with Hercule Poirot and figure out who the killer is. I'm very excited to see that there is going to be a third film, that Branagh is returning to the character for another movie. I hope he keeps doing these. Even if he's not going to direct all of them, I hope he comes back and performs in all of them because they're really, really fun movies, and I like the whodunit nature, and I think we need more whodunits. We need films like Knives Out, Murder on the Orient Express. We need those whodunit films to kind of, I don't know, it's just, they're very entertaining, and sure, they kind of play into a trope-filled idea, but I was entertained by all these movies, so I want to see more of them, and I think you should check it out as well. If you haven't seen the original Murder on the Orient Express from a couple years ago, this is not one that you need to see in order to see Death on the Nile and enjoy it. It does add a little bit because there's a couple returning characters from the first film, but you don't need to have seen Murder on the Orient Express to enjoy Death on the Nile. I just think if you have a chance, you should check out both. All right, my home video pick, recently available on home video, I think either last week or the week before, was a film that I found to be more divisive than I expected. It's one that I think is a mostly solid follow-up to the 3 films that came before it. And I'm a big fan of these filmmakers, so maybe it's just because I really love the Wachowskis, but my pick for home video release is The Matrix Resurrections. Now, granted, I don't think this movie is as good as the first 3, but I don't think that it needs to be because it's doing something very different. I heard this criticism about, like, it's about spending time, or not criticism so much as like people saying they really enjoyed the fact we were back in the Matrix world, and I think that's the biggest win for the film. The only things that hold me back from this movie is the action doesn't feel as dynamic as the first couple movies did. The action is very much Neo pushing things. He's pushing air and people are responding. But if you're there for the mythology and the story, I think this is a very, very interesting new direction for the characters and the world. I'm sad that I don't think we're going to get another Matrix movie. It doesn't sound like the filmmakers want to return to it. I'm not sure that HBO wants to go back or Warner Brothers wants to go back because the movie didn't make a ton of money. I think it was watched quite a few times, but overall I found The Matrix Resurrections, while not being as good as the first 3 movies, it's very entertaining, it's very well shot. There's a lot of great gasp moments. I like the meta nature of really poking out the issues that Warner Brothers had. It seems like last year was a lot of movies where people were willing to take a shot at Warner Brothers, and they kind of deserve it at times. So I think this was a really, really fun and exciting way to do so, and a way to progress characters and story in a unique way. It won't be for everybody, but if you've seen the first 3 movies, I definitely suggest checking out The Matrix Resurrections, and also The Animatrix, the anime inspired film that preceded the 2 sequels. Check out everything in this franchise. I think it's all really well made cinema. It's just, this movie isn't as good as the first 3, but if you know that kind of going into it, I think you'll find a lot to like about it. Alright, let's talk about my streaming pick. This is one that came out months ago, and I should have seen it months ago, and I didn't. I waited until it was nominated for an Oscar, even though I knew it was going to get up for Best Animated Feature. Over on Disney Plus, you can stream right now Luca. Luca was the latest Pixar film, the one for 2021, if you will, that came out. I think it's a cute little story about friendship. I love Italian culture, so I like the world that we're in there in that film. I like that it feels authentic to the world. I like the character interactions. I think it's exciting. It's fun. It feels very reminiscent of kind of like this, how like Studio Ghibli has dealt with childhood and friendships, where there's an imaginative monsterness to the whole thing. I was really taken with Luca. I don't think they go as far as they can. It's a very surface level movie, but I do think that for surface level, I found it to be quite enjoyable. So if you haven't had a chance, check out Luca. All right, let's go back to a classic film. We're going to completely change things up, because I was just talking about a children's movie about mermaid people turning to humans. We're going to talk about my classic film, which was released 45 years ago this month, and that is David Lynch's Eraserhead. You can check out our episode on Kyle and Nick on Film. We just talked about Eraserhead. The movie is celebrating its 45th anniversary. Kind of tough to peg down when it officially, it came out in 1977, but he was making it for like 5 to 10 years before it came out. So this movie had quite a production schedule to make. I adore Eraserhead. It might be my favorite David Lynch film. I think it's very, very entertaining nightmare fuel. It has a lot of things to say about parenthood, about fears for being a dad, about how the ways in which like we utilize machinery in our lives. There's a lot of things being said, but there's nothing being force-fed. This is a dream narrative, and it's a kooky, weird, horrific. I think of it as a horror movie. It's an odd kind of a movie. It follows a man who he finds out his girlfriend is pregnant, so he has to get married really quick. They have the baby. The baby is deformed. She can't handle what the baby is driving them towards. She finds that she's going mad, and he has to basically take care of the child, and it drives him a little mad as well. It's a bonkers movie, but if you're ready for some weird nightmare fuel, I think you will have some fun with David Lynch's Eraserhead. It's kind of the most Lynchy dream narrative movie he made, I think. And yeah, if you're looking for something that's a bit more dreamlike, a bit more nightmarish than Twin Peaks, which kind of delves a little bit into elements of that. If you're looking for something more than that, check out Eraserhead. It's a short movie too. It's like under 90 minutes. Definitely, I think moves pretty solid at a clip. I find Eraserhead to be entertaining and weird and kooky, and very much in my ballpark as far as Lynch films go. So check it out, Eraserhead, now available celebrating its 45th anniversary. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are my picks again. Let's just cover them together. So in theaters right now, I would say check out Death on the Nile. If you're looking for a good movie at home, check out The Matrix Resurrections. If you're looking to stream something, head on over to Disney Plus and check out Luca. And finally, the classic film Eraserhead celebrates its 45th anniversary this month. Check out all those picks and let me know your comments down below on what you think about the films that I picked this week's Rec Room. Thank you guys for joining me so much. Again, you can find Goat Film Reviews on Facebook. You can follow me personally on Twitter and Instagram at Almighty Goatman. You can also check out my Letterboxd account. That's also Almighty Goatman. And you can check out my other show, Kyle and Nick on Film, with new episodes Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, where Nick Plotachuk from the St. Paul Filmcast and I discuss another major film in the background of the world. Current films, previous films, we touch them all, and we make sure that we break them down for your viewing pleasure. You can also check out Goat Film Reviews at goatfilmreviews.com, where my reviews are posted on a semi-regular basis. Thank you guys for joining me, and we'll see you next week.